Hey guys, and welcome to the Cow Emporium. It's September 9th today, and we just had a couple of days of cold, sort of rainy weather, and we expect our first killing frost tonight. It's Friday night here, and so I want to show you what the plants look like before then. Now, some of our squash had a pretty hard hit from frost in August, on August 5th, I think. And so it set our squash plants back quite a bit. So I'll show you the plants that I've been picking from in advance of this frost, knowing that it's going to come. And of course, like after the frost happens, there's always really nice weather for, who knows, could even be several weeks afterwards. So I'll show you what plants I'm going to cover and which ones I'm going to pick and how that's all going to work tonight. It's been absolutely bone dry here in southern Alberta since pretty much June of this year. And you can see some of the frosted tops that happened in early August on these plants. Now, this first bit is scallopinis and zucchinis. And as you can see, I've picked everything in there that appear to be ready enough to pick. Now, I would really love to cover all this, and this isn't that big a section. It's probably only 25 feet here, but I'm not sure that I'm going to. I don't know. I'm always torn this time of year because, like I said, it can be nice out, and you're usually good to go with the first frost. So usually the first frost will get the top leaves, and then the little squashes that are down underneath are usually protected by those top leaves. And then as the day goes on after a big frost, they start to do this. So then you're guaranteed that they will not be protected from the second frost. So we pretty much have 50 feet of tomatoes in the garden and herbs and slush peppers that I'm not going to be able to cover simply because there's just so many. So what I've done is I've gone through and I've picked a bunch of the tomatoes and the peppers that are of any size off of these plants and brought them into the garage / house for them to ripen. The peppers go right into the fridge. Here's the next section of tomatoes. And here's some peppers. The cabbage tunnel is completely done. When I'd opened it up, flea beetles have found 2 tiny little holes in the second half and completely annihilated the beautiful cabbages that were there. So these tomatoes will get some hard frost tonight, and then I'm gonna come out in the morning and see what's left that I missed, because as always there'll be some hiding underneath. Now, I could stress myself out and try to cover all of these and all of those, and I frankly just don't have it in me. So what I have over here that I'm going to cover is new plantings of green beans. There's one here to here, and then there's one here down to there. And so I'm going to cover those. And I hope, I know that this garden fabric is good to -5 Celsius. So I'm going to cover it. But I covered it last night and clearly the wind blew it off, except for the parts that I weighted down with rocks. So I'm going to weight that down with rocks. Now over here, I have 3 different types of cucumbers. I have pickling cucumbers and then 2 other varieties that are just good fresh eating cucumbers. Inside of the big garden, I have more scallopinis, and I have sugar baby pumpkins planted. That's these guys, leading up to the beans that I just covered. And I've picked most of these pumpkins already. We do have new plantings of lettuce out here, and it's grown quite a bit in the week that it's been out. To start with, it was so hot that we decided to cover it with a shade cloth that I've now got over the new green beans. And you can see these guys are really coming along. And this variety of lettuce is just a spring mix lettuce, and it is so hardy. It will survive a frost, it will survive a snow, so we'll see what happens with it. At any rate, it's going to be delicious. In the greenhouse, I covered most of the tomatoes and peppers that I haven't picked yet. And we just left that on all day because it wasn't a very hot day today. However, I didn't want to roll down the outside wall yet because the next few days are going to be up into the 30s Celsius. This time of year, I'll tell you, the weather is very temperamental. Oh yeah, stuff's gonna be pretty frozen. I'm sorry guys, it's the end of the season for you. Coming out early in the morning, well, early-ish. It's now after 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, and the temperature is still hovering around 0. So I wanted to open the greenhouse up fully so it could get some sunshine through the door there, warm things up before I take the frost cover off. Let's go see if we can see anything happening in the big garden. Carrot tops and beet tops are usually okay for a while. Of course, Swiss chard is fine for quite a while. So I'm not going to uncover these beans quite yet because I can still see frost sitting on top here in the shade. So I'm going to give those a bit yet till the sun's shining on them. My sister-in-law came out last night just after dark, and so I helped her put covers over her squashes. A fitted sheet actually works pretty well for the zucchini. That's not a bad idea, really. Yeah, there's still frost sitting on top of there. You can see the squash leaves that didn't get covered. And so I'll take these covers off for her today, and then we'll have to pick those squash like right in here that the leaves have died where they are. Yeah, it's gonna be a big day in the garden. Once these frozen tops wilt on my cucumbers, I'll come out here and pick all the cucumbers that will be visible. Because when they freeze, when the squash or cucumber leaves freeze, they just sort of go flat. I'll show you an example of what that looks like here. Part of me is a little bit sad that I'm saying goodbye to my squash plants for the season. Now that the tops have died back, you can see clearly the ones that I've missed. It always amazes me how many squash are hiding under the vines that you don't even see. And once they die back, it just seems so obvious. My job now is to harvest these. I'm going to put them in the wheelbarrow and take them inside, put them downstairs where it's cool, and they're going to last until I'm done with them for sure, or until next June. In fact, I just threw out I didn't throw them out, I gave them to the chickens, the last 5 spaghetti squash I still had. We could have eaten them, but now we got fresh ones. And then I'm gonna head over to the big garden and pick the pumpkins. It's night number 2. So it froze last night, and just that walk from the house over to here, it's noticeably cold in this garden. That's probably why it froze over here so early in August. So weird how that works. Anyway, I'm gonna be out here covering my sister-in-law's squash because she covered it. She came out late and covered it last night. So yeah, let's go cover that for her anyway. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. Bye for now.